is the positive, just like from the darkness we rise up, never look back, shattering barriers, breaking through every wall. No more doubts, we stand tall and proudly call.
I've been waiting, and the reason I was waiting was to make sure I was capable
of doing it,
of being in front of other people.
But once again,
hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
To be capable of sharing my story in a way that they can digest it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can tell your story, and it could be so emotionally overwhelming. They can't. And they right. And I don't want these gentlemen and these young men to know it's just all about emotions. Right. No, it's about me telling a full-throated story of how we got here and how we can change it. So was my next question is, can we turn this around?
Yes, we can.
Go ahead.
Yes, we can. You know, I'm not quoting Obama here.
Yeah.
But yes, we can. The beauty of life, you know, life is a cycle, right? You know, so what, you know, like you got archaeologists out here digging up bones every day.
Yeah.
Right? What do you want your bones to say? You know, when you gone, what do you want to leave in your wake? You know, where do you want to leave off? You know, like I used to tell my kids all the time, look, I ain't got no money, but I got a lot of knowledge. If you want it, you can get all the knowledge in the world.
That's the legacy.
That's my legacy.
That could be your legacy, right? Because I didn't understand the word legacy until in the last 4 years of my life.
See?
You know.
And
wait a minute, hold on a second.
Me neither.
The word legacy to the last 4 years of my life when it pertains to family, dysfunction. I didn't know the word dysfunction until I was after 45.
Nobody knows they're dysfunctional when they're dysfunctional.
Right. I'm trying to think what else did I learn. Man, there's so many things I learned because we were not looking at family. Right. We were just surviving. And then in that survival mode, almost nothing's real.
Right. When you're swimming, right? You know, you don't worry about, gee, how big is this? If somebody throws you overboard, you're not concerned how big the lake is. You're just trying to get to the shore.
Yeah.
Right? Then you look back and you're like, damn, I done swam through all of this dysfunctionality.
Yes.
You know, now you can say, oh, wow, it was dysfunction on the left, dysfunction on the right, and now I made it through. Now that you've made it through, or somebody's pointed out, hey, you may be in a dysfunctional situation.
Man.
It is your responsibility now to look back and fix it.
Absolutely.
Or point somebody in a better direction. You know, I looked up recently, and I'm the patriarch of my family.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute. I looked around, I was like, okay, there used to be the other old guy, he gone.
Yeah.
Used to be the other guy, wait a minute, he gone. Used to be the other guy, well, he got divorced, and ain't nobody heard from him. And so-and-so, he in prison. Like, damn.
That leaves you.
It's me.
You know, watching a post where they says, you know, life ain't been the same since Big Mama and Big Daddy's gone. And I'm like, hey, it's you.
You Big Daddy.
You next.
Right.
That's the evolution. You next to bat.
One of the funniest things you're ever going to hear is, you know, I don't have no problem getting old. I just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Well, damn.
Right. It's like, you look up and you're like, damn. You know, I heard a preacher tell me one time at a funeral, he gave his whole sermon. But the thing I took from the sermon, because, you know, you always say good stuff at people's funerals. You know,
say you always do what?
Nobody ever says, man, he wasn't ish at their funeral.
Don't die in front of me, because I will tell you.
Well, see, you're not gonna get in the pulpit with the little dress, with the gown, whatever, the robe on, and tell that story. So you're gonna get up there and say, like we all traditionally, what we do. Somebody's gonna say, hey, you know, Paul was a great man, and Paul did this, and Chris was this, you know. But when you're going through it, right? People say, well, you know, I didn't know I was halfway through my life, right? You don't know. If you die at 26, right? Midlife for you was 13. You know, if I die at 54, midlife was 27. You see what I'm saying? So now people are like, well, I'm gonna do that when I get older. No, you're getting older every day. Do it now. Do it now. You know, you want to reach out to your kids? Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity to reach out to your children. Reach out now. You know, if you got grandkids you don't talk to, now. You know, people say, well, like in the investment world.
Well, let's talk about why they don't.
Right.
Okay. The reason they don't, they're hurt.
They're hurt.
And let me finish. Wait a minute. I didn't say I'm with them.
Go ahead.
We're going to talk about the understanding. they're so hurt that no one works on their hurt with them, but you're asking them to move forward.
Right.
And I think that's wrong
It
in
is.
reality, because our parents didn't know what they were doing.
No, they didn't.
And you can go ahead and give them that graceful statement. They work with what they had. However, this is still the outcome.
Still the outcome.
And now they're the people who are on their deathbeds at this rate, and they're trying to. And this is where you're saying about being at the funeral. They're trying to get those good lines out instead of the truth.
The truth.
And and you also said this, that your grandfather at the funeral, you saw another kid that was younger than you.
Right.
So all those are stories and things that need to be told because it's the truth. It's the truth. And the problem I'm having with today right now is no one wants to tell the whole truth because they assume that the family can keep growing on lies, or they can die before the truth comes out.
But see, that's the thing. You know, you don't know where you are in your life, right? But now is the time you can turn it around.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if I'm gonna leave Paul's dining room, this beautiful establishment here, and go out here and get run over by Clayton County.
That's the very reason why I wrote my books.
That's it.
Listen, if you got a book in you, here's what you do. Write the book, it'll change your life.
Bingo.
Stop telling other authors, I got a book in me, I got a book. Write your book, it'll change your life. Now.
I'm guilty.
You got a book in you?
I want to write. I really do. But
write the book and it'll change your life.
I look at you guys, I'm like, man, I can do that. I can do that, you know. But I've got a writing partner now, right?
Who's that?
A young friend of mine. She's way out in Colorado.
And it's not me? Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Chris, no,
Boy, you busy.
You know, it's not
you busy.
Okay,
and you don't want to hear me
y'all
crying about, well, man, you know, I was going to do this, but the character don't work like that.
I'll hold you accountable.
Right.
That's one thing I learned.
But see, that's why you get a writing partner.
Yes.
Right? So you get the writing partner, and you hold each other accountable.
Yeah, all right.
And
go ahead and spin that, Chris. Okay.
Oh, well,
I'm with you.
Paul is a busy man.
I'm driven. That's what it is. So I got to that part of my life where I had to change everything for everybody after me. I could not cry about my relationship with my dad. I couldn't cry about the relationship with my mom. I couldn't cry about nothing because your kids don't care about that.
Right.
They only care if you love them.
Right.
And they only grow off love. If you don't do that for them, they will be sitting there sideways trying to figure it out on their time. And then, oh my goodness, yes.
You know that famous saying that they always tell us, F your feelings.
Yeah.
But you still got to have feelings, right?
Yes.
But it can't be about your feelings.
Well, you know what? F your feelings if it stops you from growing.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. F your feelings if it stops you from growing.
If your feelings are your excuse, then F your feelings.
Right.
You know, so you got to make this thing work. You know, life is from here to here.
Right.
When you go to a cemetery, and I've been to a cemetery lately. Don't ask why, but I've been there. You know, we were doing a grave cleaning, but you got from this day to this day. Life is that dash in the middle, right?
Yeah.
You know, we can say, oh, they were born on the 1st of whatever, and they died on the 1st of whatever.
Yeah.
But that dash in the middle, that part, that's on you. You know, you got to make that work. You have to say, this is what I'm all about.
Okay.
And as a man, that's part of being a man. You know, that's where the
I'll say this to those who go into a mentoring program and those who are never connected to their dads, you're not going to get those answers.
No.
Be the dad you ever wanted to have. Be that guy. Whatever you daydream about that he was supposed to be, that he could have been.
There you go.
I want you
to
find a way to be that guy.
Right.
You may not be as tall as he was, but you could be smarter than him. You can create more things than him. You can have more jobs than him. You can do so many other things rather than just being heard about what other people didn't do.
The beauty of now, everything is out here. You know, you've got books on fatherhood. You've got videos on fatherhood. You got Paul.
Yeah.
You know,
you got Chris.
You got Chris.
Yeah.
With all his issues.
Yeah.
You know, you've got an outlet. You know, when we were coming up, was there YouTube when you came up?
No.
No, there wasn't no YouTube.
No. We're the same age.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm hitting you where you live.
If you didn't get to the library.
Right. If you didn't get to the library, which closed in my neighborhood at 5:30.
Yeah.
You know, library closed at 5:30. So there wasn't by the time you finished pretending like you was trying to play football, that was me. Chasing after a little girl.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Library was closed.
Yeah.
You know, then it was open on Saturday, but then on Saturday, all the fellas was hanging out.
Oh, we was going to the Girls and Boys Club by then.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Girls and Boy Club never had a book.
No, they had no book.
no books at the Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely.
You know,
They had activities, but they had no books.
Right.
But there was no books that we could possibly read.
There you go. And most of our families, we had a library at our house.
Yeah.
You know, we could tell our mom, hey, Mom, I know when I don't have no daddy here, but go give me a book on parenting. You know?
That's not going to happen.
That's
so
not gonna happen.
now, but so also let's go back to writing books right now. Yeah. We can be the authors of tomorrow.
Exactly.
What we do today will affect tomorrow.
Exactly.
And if you don't tap out.
Right.
Don't tap out. Don't just say don't throw your hands up. Now, here's something that most people don't talk about is the reconnection, because when we have single mothers out there and they're not connected to their dads for their reasons, that's a whole nother show.
Another show.
But they really need to be connected with their dad, whether you like them, love them, hate them, or whatever. Their dad is a part of the education of the other half of who they are. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Exactly.
They need to meet them, converse with them, and if you have to leave them alone, and I've been there, 2 days after meeting my dad at age 27, I left him alone.
That's it. You have to.
I left him alone, but just meeting him, and now he had to watch me progress in my life, being greater than he was.
Right.
And that's the best revenge ever, is to put your child in a position that they grow, they see it, and then they can grow beyond half-ass dads and angry dads and absent dads.
Ain't-ish.
Yes, because on another show we're going to talk about mothers.
Yes.
Because
now,
that's another thing.
This is the thing. You know,
we don't want to talk about it right now.
Negatives to positives, just like from the darkness we rise up, never look back, shattering barriers, breaking through every wall. No more doubts, we stand tall and proudly call the strength within us, the fire that never dies, fueling our dreams, reaching for the skies. Negatives to positives, just like that. From the darkness we rise up, never look back, shattering barriers, breaking through every wall. No more doubts, we stand tall and proudly call the strength within us, the fire that never dies, fueling our dreams, reaching for the skies.